said for Harry. The poor prince stood on the most awkward threshold after Meghan abandoned him at the coronation. Hello, and a very warm welcome back to LVT News. I think everyone felt so happy when they heard the great news that Meghan will not be coming to the coronation, but we all need to watch Harry pretty carefully on that day. Harry is never able to hide his feelings. The petulant man, baby, is going to be isolated, and I expect to hear something not long after the coronation, probably about a divorce. I really do think Harry wants to come back to the family without that horrible woman who made him believe that he's got these mental health problems. Harry is going to need to meet with palace officials and lawyers, of course, for a few days before or perhaps even after the coronation. The question of how much Meghan is going to settle for and whether or not the invisible kids are going to return to their natural mothers is going to need to be figured out, too. Harry has also said that he should not be put in the same league as Andrew. Well, if they're slowly bringing Andrew back, then Harry will expect to be reinstated a lot more quickly. Whatever happens, though, body language experts are going to be tuned into Harry on the big day. And I just hope that we can see the same Harry we used to see when he actually seemed like a lot of fun and seemed like a happy person. Now, of course, it has been reported that Meghan is for sure not coming. But I wouldn't put it past her just to show up unannounced. I also don't believe that she's going to let Harry off the hook easily. I think she's going to expect quite the payout for herself. And Harry has shown us true colors. He has shown us what he is capable of, and he shouldn't be allowed back in the fold immediately. He needs to be held accountable for his actions. I'm sorry, but he is just way too old to excuse all of his bad behavior. We cannot sweep it under the rug again. Harry still has a lot to answer for, and he needs to be held responsible for his behavior for once in his life. He agreed with Meghan and everything they did, and he knew exactly what he was doing. I guess the allure of all the money and trying to overshadow his older brother was the most important thing for him. And Bacon, it's not like Harry can just slip off the switch and go back to the family without some repercussions. Harry has done way too much damage. So, you know what? Maybe he can just go to that park in Africa that he loves so much. And until there's a witnessed signed divorce document, I don't really believe they're getting divorced. Who's to say they're not trying to trick everybody again? I would not put it past them to begin divorce proceedings. Perhaps even go through with the divorce and then get back together again. After all, Meghan does not have any talent or skills. And the only thing Harry has been able to make money doing is trashing his family for over 4 years now. He is coming back for money. It has nothing to do with love or regret. He just wants to go back to his fancy lifestyle and all the benefits that came along with being a working royal. I hope that King Charles and the rest of the family can stand strong and tell him no. Yes, of course, he should divorce Meghan, but he should not receive any royal tax. They are funded perks. And please read the room. Charles, realize what the people want. Keep him away. I think most people who have been following this whole mess would say we in the family need at least a 10-year hiatus from laying eyes on Harry ever again. Now, Harry, of course, should have the right to return home to the UK, but he should also be removed from the light of succession. I could not imagine what would happen if he rose to be king one day. I think it would be better to see the country turn into a republic than have this cretin and be the king. Harry has been such a disgrace, and if nothing else, now we know how he really feels about the monarchy, freedom of speech to the Commonwealth and also the people of the UK. The thing about it is, we cannot blame that piece of garbage. Make a marker for all of Harry's bad behavior. A lot of jealousy and animosity came directly from him. And just in case you forgot, and Harry's drug adults aid. He said so many things that he cannot take back. I would still be very cautious around him if I were the royal family. I mean, I think Harry still believes the same stuff. And he has not done a 180 on anything. Money and greed are still what drives him. It is important that the royal family never trust him again. Harry is still a snake in the grass. It's going to be a very long time, if ever, before the royal family can trust him again, maybe at least 10 years and maybe never. Now, when it comes to Harry's return to the UK, my opinion is based on the fact that Harry may be finally waking up. And so I don't think he would be accompanied by Meghan Markle. I suspect that he might not be in touch with her at all. I mean, that's just a guess. But still, I've got some evidence to support my. Now, there are many people who go to rehab because they want to make a real change in their lives. And maybe that would also help Harry. I don't think it could hurt. I think that is a possibility. The royal family should look into for him. If King Charles does decide to help Harry, that would be secondary to thinking of his country and his people. And he has spent more than 70 years learning that lesson. And I'm sure that's how it would be. The king knows good and well that it was Harry and Meghan who caused him so much trouble and so much pain. If Harry comes back to the UK, it is not automatic that he would return to royal service at all. Anyone coming back to their home country is not going to just walk back into their job after trashing the people who run the business, especially somebody who's still got their head in the clouds. I suspect that royal aides would have the job of seeing to the provision of psychiatric treatment for Harry. And that treatment should probably happen far away from the palace or any royal residences, for that matter. A pair comes back to his home country. Now, if we do get the news that Harry is coming back to the UK, we should not understand that to be news that he's returning to a royal life of service at all. Harry would be capable of such a thing. The royal family and staff would see that very clearly, and I don't even think Harry would want that. Just look at where performing those princely duties got him. My suspicion is that if he does come back to the UK, it is because he has started to wake up. Harry would probably go back to a place of protection and treatment, and his father and brother would help with that. It's going to be a long time, though, before he would be trusted. But I do think those in the royal family who still care about his mental health would help in that. But on the other hand, I mean, all along, I have had the impression that the palace's goal was to have Harry come along. And well, it looks like they've achieved that. Even Meghan herself said a little while ago, something about the emphasis being on Harry. So something was up. I suspect that she was invited, but somehow they managed to put her off. The courtiers are actually a lot more intelligent than Meghan is. And, you know, she would have played the victim if she were not invited. Harry might have that smirk on his face, the same one that we saw when he was going to court, trying to pretend like he is so important. Let's remember that in many ways, Harry is just as bad as Meghan is, perhaps even worse. In some ways, the idea that Harry would never be able to go into public life again is a really bad idea. I mean, Andrew was an idiot to keep up that friendship with Epstein. But you know what? A lot of people fell into that trap, like Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and many other people who were actually still respected and still public figures. Andrew, at the end of the day, didn't commit any crime that we know of. And he was always pretty respectful publicly, of other members of the family. Harry, we cannot say the same for. Not only did Harry buy and use illegal substances, which is a criminal act, but he also made Her late Majesty's life so miserable towards the end, which he didn't deserve. And he does fall into the classification of an elderly abuser who could have any respect for such a spoiled grandson who abused both of his grandparents and his father-in-law, too, and who also abuses drugs. And maybe I'm just seeing this from a certain perspective, because I have been through a similar situation with a family member, and it never really worked out very well. And I'm still sad about it. I mean, I'll never get over the family member I lost. I wish that we could just snap our fingers and make everything okay again. I do hope that the coronation, though, goes off without a hitch. King Charles has been waiting 70 years to be king. I mean, he did get to keep his mother for an amazing 70 years. And that, in and of itself is remarkable.